You know what I
Well,
mean?
the problem out here is that you have numbers as minorities.
Exactly.
You have votes, but you are not represented. You don't have a voice.
Right.
Without a voice, you can't make change.
Right.
How are you going to get change? You need to run for the local city council. You need to run for the mayor.
Right.
You need to actually try and get into the system from within and work it outside.
Right.
Right now, when you're on the outside, you don't have power. This is a case in point where all the anger
Okay.
boils. It comes together,
Right.
and it all comes down to power. Okay? The white minority is ironically losing that power because the majority, the minority, is changing.
Right. Okay.
Over the last 20 years, the whites were majority and they're in power.
Right.
Over the last 20 years, the minorities,
Right.
the Latinos and African Americans,
Right.
are the majority,
Okay.
but they have not one voice
Okay.
in City Hall. There's not one person of color representing in City Hall. Period.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
What's wrong with the picture?
Yeah, that's something wrong with that picture. And I also, you know what I mean, I saw that and I asked the question, what's wrong with this picture? Because we don't have, like, you know, people of color, you know what I mean, minorities in position to have a voice to, you know what I mean, to do the things that need to be done in the community.
Yes.
So, you know, that's why at this point, like I say, we can't stay back and not do anything, you know, we have to do something.
Okay, so we need to gather the religious community on the Latino side and the African American side. Because I guarantee you, if it was a Latino kid pissing on the side of the garage, those shots would have rang out.
Right.
African American kid, shots rang out. White kid, no shots.
Right, exactly.
And who's pulling the trigger on the other side of that gun? White cops.
White cops, yeah, absolutely.
So tolerance is automatically a little bit lower because we already like stereotype.
Right.
So anytime you stereotype, they always feel a certain way about you.
Right.
If I know something about you, heard something about you, when I meet you, if I don't have a even stead mind, I'm already feel a certain way about you.
Right.
And so when I see a young kid, I already feel that way about that kid already.
Right.
It's an epidemic, all right? You got a bad economy since the '08 bubble burst, okay? You have prison realignment, where Brown released 10% of the prison population into the county jails. My criminal clients are only serving 10% of their nonviolent prison or regular jail term. So what happens? They put people in jail, the cops see them come right back out. So now you have street justice. There's the epidemic. That's why cops shoot first, ask questions later. And the only way they can justify themselves is by putting a case on a victim.
Right,
to
right.
make the victim the suspect.
Right.
And there's a seminal Supreme Court case called Heck versus Humphreys that says your criminal case cannot conflict with your civil rights case. You parse the two out.
Right.
So how does the cop become the victim? How do they switch the roles? All the cops lie.
Right.
And they get on the stand with a badge and a gun in their uniform,
Right.
and they explain to the jury, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, myself and my fellow 12 officers all witnessed this young boy out here pull out 2 knives and charge us for 30 yards. And we backed up. And we told them to stop.
Right.
They're going to lie.
Right.
And it will happen. And it happens all the time, as you all know. But what's going to stop it is the power of the community and nonviolent protest coming together and saying to the high desert, look, we as the minorities are actually the majorities.
Right.
And we actually have the majority of the vote. But we have no voice in our community. We have no voice in our government.
Right.
And that's going to change today.
Right. Okay.
And Kayvon is the beginning of our change.
That's
it's the first day of a new high desert.
Right.
And this high desert's going to have to listen.
Right.
Because if they don't, we're going to bring Los Angeles down. We're going to bring all the news media. We're going to bring the entire religious community out.
Right.
And we're all coming together. And why are we going to win? Because we have voting power. And we are now a team.
Right.
We are united.
Right.
So this is more than one incident. This is an entire community that is constantly harassed, constantly kicked down by the cops, which is intentionally done to keep the power in the white community.
Right, right. I
They
see what you're-
intentionally tell the cops, attack this minority neighborhood. Attack them. Kick them out.
Right, right.
And that's got to stop. Because that's racially profiling. That's illegal. That's civil rights
Right,
violations.
right,
That's
right.
got to stop.
Right, yeah.
And it's going to stop.
And it's gonna stop, yeah.
And we're going to
Absolutely.
stay
We're
together
gonna
to
stop
fight
it.
this. This
Yeah.
is an epidemic.
Right,
It's
right,
bigger.
right.
It's bigger than this house.
Right, right, right.
It's the entire community. And we can all come together, and we do have that power.
Right,
And for whatever reason, and I don't know why God does what he does, but he picks situations to make change happen.
that's right. That's
And
what
you
it's
don't
all
know
about.
why he
Yeah.
picked you.
Yeah.
You just don't know why, but he did.
Right, right,
And you need to take the call, and
right.
it's frustrating, but through adversity comes
Change,
change.
absolutely. And that's what we're here for, change. That's what we plan on doing, you know what I mean, through what has happened in this situation, is to make that change. And we are the voices and the power that's going to bring it about. That's what we're going to
If you don't
do.
have no voice, you don't have no
Yeah,
power.
absolutely.
That's what it is. It's time for everybody to speak up. A lot
Right.
of times people have a tendency, if something don't involve them directly,
Right.
they stay back out of it.
Right,
But you know, sometimes it's time to stand up and do what you got to do what's right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, your son could have been my son.
Right.
The same age.
Amen.
Yeah, you know, he could have been over there. My son had been over here.
Right.
He could have been
That's
inside
right.
over there.
that's
You know,
right.
Everybody. So
That's
it's
right.
time right now, like you said before, it's like a lot of racial profiling going on.
Yeah.
Not just here.
Right.
In the whole high desert.
yeah.
As a whole. And I can even go a little further and say San Bernardino County. Because I know about that little wagon too. But
Right.
the whole thing, once focus on right here, you got to get one thing turned over at a time.
Right.
And right now it's time to get Adelanto
Right.
and Victorville's high desert turned
Right.
over and do the right thing.
Right,
And then we
absolutely.
can
out of jail.
and
Yeah.
get him out of jail. That's
Yeah.
first and foremost right there. Gonna be,
Get
anything
Davion
else
out of
to get
jail.
him out of jail because he
He
don't
does not
deserve to be
deserve to be
there.
Right.
And I can speak on it. You can go on the record. I've been there for 3 years for something I didn't do.
Right.
So I know how the system works.
Exactly.
You know, and they give you something, they put something on you that ain't there for you. And a lot of times they got this little thing called railroading.
Right,
And what they
right.
do, the system will railroad you to force you to take some time.
Right,
For something
yeah.
you didn't do because
Right.
you have a fear of getting more time.
Right, right.
And like you said earlier, the only ones will judge you is not really, they say a jury your own peer. Well, a jury your own peer, well, my peer would be black, or Latino, or someone white, or in the same financial area I am, structure I am, not just all a white board.
Right.
So, you know, because you can't identify with the struggles and things I'm going through and go identify with what I have to go through with the police department or other people in power because of my race.
Right.
And so sometimes you got to go above this here. And now it's time for them to have the voice to go above what we got to go through now.
Right,
Because
right.
your voice, like I said, is power.
Right.
Because right now, only way you can have power is by standing together.
Right.
And if one person stand by themselves, you ain't got
It's
no
not-
power.
that's right.
You know what I'm saying? But everybody stand together, then you got
Absolutely.
power. So it's just time to stand together and do what we got to do, and I'm standing with you.
That's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna